On Thai PBS World tonight, while the government announced the cash handout scheme for teenagers, experts question if the third phase can really galvanize the economy. Over 200 Indians have been repatriated from Mae Sot to their homeland. And if you plan to travel in other provinces during Songkran, you don't need to pay pricey tickets as the government ordered airlines to cut airfares. You're watching Thai PBS World tonight. I'm Frank Kanshi.
And I'm Nat Bunna.
Actually, yesterday we talked about cashing out. Actually, this scheme that the government wants to boost the consumption, domestic consumption here. But some experts actually they warn that this scheme might not drive the economy. With a total budget over 200 billion baht, Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra aims to boost the economy by increasing domestic consumption power by implementing Phase 3 of the cash handout scheme. However, the outcome is weaker than expected. The Ministry of Finance previously emphasized that the Phase 1 of the scheme drove the economy by 0.3% of GDP, and the second phase increased 0.1%. However, the World Bank pointed out that the spendings for the first phase was 0.8% of GDP, which means that the cost is higher than the return. The Thai Council supervising consumer powers and economic development, the Thailand Consumer Council, has joined the chorus of criticism over the government's decision to award a 10,000 baht handout to young people, arguing that it should instead be directed towards the working age population. The Council's President Boonyan Siritam today said that while she supported the first two phases of the scheme, targeting the elderly and people with disabilities who may lack digital literacy, she questioned its effectiveness in stimulating the economy. She said that, quote, "I would like to ask what the government's goal is because they are still school age and mostly rely on their parents' money. Besides their potential to purchase general goods, do they have the potential for spending or investing in businesses?" Unquote. The president voiced concerns over the third phase of the program, which is set to provide financial support to those aged 16 to 20. She expressed doubt that teenagers would contribute meaningfully to economic growth and suggested the initiative appeared more like an attempt to court the youth vote rather than ease the financial burden on families. Paetongtarn, the PM, however, referred to it as the third phase of the 10,000 baht economic stimulus program. The first phase provided cash to welfare card holders and disabled individuals, while the second phase benefited an elderly recipient. So, of course, we have seen some experts and economists say that the third phase wouldn't drive the economy. There are two sides here. Of course, the first one is teenagers. What would they do with the 10,000 baht? Some might save it, some might spend for that, but would they really drive the economy for more spending? Another one is political implications, because some political analysts say that this is the way that the current government, they might want to get more voting from teenagers, because in 2027, there's the next general election and teenagers at the time they can vote. What do you think, Nat?
Well, I think people who are most disappointed about the digital wallet scheme now is the working age population, because many people may have expected to receive the cash benefits in this particular phase, but unfortunately it ended up being those aged 16 to 20 years old, most of whom do not have their monthly incomes yet, and most of them are still in school. So what will they use with the 10,000 baht cash benefits, even though they can use it for goods and services? But one thing that they cannot use is to pay tuition fees. This has already been confirmed by the Deputy Finance Minister, Paupum Rojanasakul, who said that this cannot be used for their tuition fees.
And actually, there's a good news here, an update about the fourth phase for the working age from 20 to 59 is that the fourth phase scheme will be sent to Cabinet by this September. So for us, for you, of course, Thai citizen, you still have to wait until mid this year.
But we'll still have to wait and see whether this will really stimulate the economy. Based on World Bank's observation, it hasn't really boosted the Thai economy that much. Now let's turn to the repatriation of foreigners who have been lured to work in these scam call centers in Myanmar, and the repatriation of those foreign nationals are still ongoing. A group of 283 Indian nationals rescued from scam centers in Myawaddy Township were flown back to India today on a military transport plane. They had been transferred across the border from Myawaddy through the second Thai-Myanmar Friendship Bridge into Mae Sot district of Thailand's Tha province. They were then taken to a local airport and flown back to India. And apart from this group of Indians, another group of 257 Indian nationals are due to be repatriated through the same channel. Altogether, 540 Indians were found working in scam centers in Shui Koko and KK Park in Myanmar and housed at a shelter in Myawaddy while waiting for the Indian government to take them home. The Thai government has determined that no foreigners extracted from scam centers will be allowed to cross the border into Thailand unless their governments have arranged for aircraft to fly them home. Last week, several hundreds of Chinese nationals were repatriated through Mae Sot Airport. Most of them are believed to have entered Myanmar voluntarily, tempted by offers of attractive rewards to work as scammers. So this is the latest effort to rescue and repatriate the foreign nationals from Myanmar back to their home countries.
This is the multinational efforts from Thailand, China, and India. Of course, we have seen mostly, of course, those have been repatriated to their homeland are Chinese, Taiwanese, and other nationals too. And right now, this time is India. And we still have to give the praise to our government that to help those really stuck at borders. But at the end, the depth of this work, how far does it go? Because we have to say that we haven't seen really the full crackdown about the scam centers at the border. And right now, of course, I think governments, multinational government right now still work together to really shut down those scam centers. So we will give you more details later on.
Exactly, because there are still many other challenges lying ahead in terms of the crackdown of these scam call centers. Now on to the latest of the death of an ex-police officer who hung himself dead in prison. So far, the panel has been formed to investigate into his death following suspicion of alleged abuse and bullying which have led to his suicide. The chief of the prison guards in Zone 7 of Klong Prem Prison has been transferred to facilitate an investigation into the apparent suicide of former police officer Thitisan Uttanapon, who was found dead in his solitary confinement cell last Friday. The Deputy Director General of the Corrections Department said the investigation panel has been given 30 days to complete the probe. To ensure transparency, he said the panel will comprise representatives from the Royal Thai Police, the Institute of Forensic Medicine, and the Provincial Administration Department, adding that the probe will be wide-ranging and will include an examination of any disputes between the deceased, other prisoners, and prison guards. He maintains that the Corrections Department did not ignore a complaint from Thitisan's mother, who asked that he wants to be moved out of a solitary cell, claiming that the complaint did not comply with the department's procedure. However, he claimed that a panel has been set up to consider this complaint. He also said that the chief guard of Zone 7 has a clean record with no complaints of mistreatment of prisoners, but admitted that Thitisan had been involved in a dispute with another inmate. Expressing his condolences to the family of Thitisan, the Deputy Director General said that he was a senior to Thitisan at the police academy and that the investigation will be fair and transparent. And today, Thai reporters actually got a glimpse of what the solitary cell looked like at Klong Prem Prison. And this is not only to look at his conditions in Klong Prem Prison, but actually to also look into the objects that were inside the cell that may have been used to hang himself, and one of which is a towel that was given to all of the inmates, and possibly that might have been an object that the ex-police officer has used to hang himself inside there. And the Corrections Department insists that he committed suicide in the prison and it was not a murder. However, we still have to wait for the autopsy results from Chulalongkorn General Hospital because the family are still suspicious of how he actually died.
And I think right now the story goes to the positive direction that the panel has been formed. Chulalongkorn Hospital and other government agencies will come in to see the details of the autopsy. Of course, I understand that family right now is still suspicious about the cause of the death now, but still we have to wait for more details until the panel release some news.
Yes,
there.
and the investigation will be set up really soon to find out what really happened. And you may have noticed that this prison cell in particular, they do not allow reporters to step inside that particular cell because the police might still have to gather more evidence to find out what really happened to Titisan as well.
But it's good that we have the rare opportunities to get into the cell to see the same type of the cell and how it works and what the detail is inside. And now let's move on to soft news because we are 1 month away from Songkran.
Yeah.
So before the new year arrives, the Thai government has asked airlines to lower their tickets for domestic routes during the Songkran festival. The Ministry of Transport has ordered 6 domestic airlines to reduce their airfares by 30% and to increase the number of flights by 124 during the Songkran festival between April 11th to 17th. Transport Minister Surya Tsengrungrungki said today that the fare cuts and flight increases are intended to facilitate travel during the festival and ensure that airfares are reasonable. The additional flights will add 25,000 seats during the period from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, Krabi, Samui, Nakhon Pathom, Udon Thani, Phuket, Khon Kaen, Hat Yai, and other major cities. Tickets can be booked in advance from March 11th to 20th at the ticket counter website and call centers of Thai Airways, Bangkok Airways, Thai Air Asia, Nok Air, Thai Lion Air, and Thai Vietjet. Surya said that he had also ordered airports of Thailand, the Aeronautical Radio of Thailand, and all concerned agencies to provide convenience to all passengers, adding that no passengers will be left stranded at airports. Also, the State Railway of Thailand has been ordered to add 26 trains on routes from Bangkok to Chiang Mai and other major cities too. The state-run transport company will add 1,000 buses to accommodate the additional 100,000 passengers expected to travel to their home provinces by bus. Also, the motorway too, the M6 motorway from Bang Ba-in to Nakhon Ratchasima and the M81 from Bang Yai through Nakhon Pathom to Kanchanaburi will also be opened for trial runs during the same period. Toll fees will also be exempted for passengers' cars on 5 expressways. The minister said he has instructed the Land Transport Department to mandate that all buses traveling distance exceeding 400 kilometers must have 2 drivers working in shifts. If there is only 1 driver, they must stop every 4 hours for at least a 30-minute race. So, of course, we've seen, Songkran is coming right now, and we're still 1 month away there. And there are some measures that can facilitate passengers to go back to their home.
And holiday season also means peak travel season because during Songkran holidays, the ticket fares are really, really expensive. That is why the minister has insisted on the 30% discount on all of the ticket fares so that it's easier for people to travel back home or possibly travel for their holidays as well.
Yeah.
And now let's turn to another scandal. Many Thai netizens have called for an investigation into a viral photo apparently depicting a People's Party MP vaping inside a parliament building, which is actually by law a no smoking zone. In Thailand, owning an e-cigarette is illegal and offenders could face jail terms and or fines on conviction. And here's a picture of MP Joriyut Jaturophon Prasit, who's a People's Party MP, apparently holding an e-cigarette in his hand. And this came to light after it was posted on a Facebook page, and the picture went viral, gaining hundreds of shares, likes, and comments. Many of them criticized the MP, stating that he should be setting a good example for others since he's a politician. Meanwhile, the deputy leader of the People's Party, Pakornwut Udompipasakul, said today that the party will look into the matter to determine what really happened. He claimed, however, that such incidents are not exclusive to the People's Party, adding that this has happened in other parties as well. People are talking about the People's Party just because there's an image showing it. He also said that he has not yet discussed the issue with the MP in question. So even though vaping is still considered illegal here, but the sad truth is that some people still think that vaping is not wrong as long as they are vaping in areas where it's safe and if there are zones that are non-smoking zones, if they're not smoking there, then it's okay. They might be smoking outside. But this ended up being inside a parliamentary building.
I think one point to make is that, to be honest, of course, sometimes we walk in, on the road in Bangkok, we can see many people, some people that are using vaping already. But this is about the position, because he is one of the member of parliament from People's Party, and this could damage the reputation of the party. And to be honest, we can turn the time back on a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can understand, or you remember what happened to People's Party's MP about the sexual harassment case a few months ago, and now the vaping case. So this is the big question mark for reputation of People's Party, how to protect it and how to maintain it. Of course, this has been built up since Pita's period.
Yeah, and another question is that this case occurred with the opposition parties, but if this came from the ruling party, the ruling government, will the criticism be the same level? That would be a big one. This is a very
interesting point there. But right now, of course, we're still seeing at some damage at the opposition side. So we will see how People's Party manage it and push their reputation to higher up again.
And most importantly, how this MP will clarify himself as well. All right, and that wraps up tonight's edition of Thai PBS World Tonight. Join us every Monday and Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Thai PBS World's Facebook and YouTube Live. And don't forget to follow us on social media and our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest stories and analyses about Thailand. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ